everyone. A little bit late today. Sorry, everyone, for the delay. I was grabbing a coffee and ended up having a chat with someone that I might want to collaborate with about something. So it was like the universe sending me the type of collaborator that I was asking for type of thing. So I just had to kind of go with it. So happy Tuesday, my friends. Hopefully everyone's doing good. Hopefully we are feeling okay with the new moon energy. Hello, friends. Slightly delayed today. So I'm so curious how everyone's new moon has been. For me, it's been good. The days leading up to the new moon definitely felt a little bit crunchy for me, but a little bit better now. Let me just adjust this slightly. There we go. I'm still learning like the exact crop I want for this. So let's just get rolling, I guess, my friends. The cats are gonna make fun cat noises as they tend to do. Let's see. What is the tarot vibe check for this week? What do we need to know for the week ahead? The cards really want a good shuffle this week. I always try to not force the pace of the shuffle. So if the cards want to keep going for a little bit longer, I always just let it happen, because otherwise we can get a reading that is not what it's supposed to be. So, okay, let me just start putting these cards out. I'm wearing lip gloss today, and I always get like little fluffies whenever I'm wearing lip gloss and not lipstick. It drives me insane. Okay, what else do we need to know today? For the week ahead, what do we need to know? And anyone who is here live, feel free to pop in the chat and let me know where you're viewing from and how your week has gone so far. Let's see what we got. Man, I keep pulling this 10 of Cups, like, for myself all the fucking time, and here it is again. Pretty good card to keep pulling, I will say that. Let's see what we got. I'm just putting other cards over to the other side on what do we do about this. Okay. So I'm just looking at the balance of the cards here to see what all is going on. We've got a few majors, not many. We got some pentacles. We got some cups, some swords, one wand. So a pretty diverse pull of cards. We've got a decent amount of reversals, especially on the what to do about it section. So let's see how we can interpret this. Like a lot going on this week. And anyone who is viewing live, let me know how you're doing and how your last week was and where you're viewing from. Okay. So first up, we've got, trying to like move everything so I can grab my water. Okay, so first up, we've got the reversed 9 of Pentacles for the week ahead. So much we can say about this card. It is one of my favorites when it's upright. Oh, hi, more people viewing. Nice to have you here. So this card for this week, in terms of the vibe, like we might feel tempted to buy a shit ton of stuff to luxuriate our homes. But with this card for this week, I would say we likely can pull out stuff from our storage, let's say, in order to decorate instead. Like we've probably got stuff that we forgot that we have. Like I feel like it's the type of week where we're probably going to buy something that we've forgotten that we've already bought like 5 different versions of in the past. So hold back on some of that spending and see if you can't luxuriate in a lot of the physical objects that you already have. And I would say this is likely going to be about the physical objects because this is Pentacles, which is very earthy. So I wouldn't say this is about education. I wouldn't say this is about coaching. I wouldn't say this is about therapy or like hiring a lawyer or any of that type of stuff. I feel like this is more about like pillows, blankets, couches, like Christmas decorations. Like you probably already have a ton of, let's say, Christmas decorations that you can just pull out from under the bed or out of storage. So before you get any of the beautifying home stuff for this week, because it's going to be the time when a lot of people are putting up their Christmas decorations, holiday decorations, all of that, look through your stores of what you already have lying around. And it seems like a very weird thing to get a tarot card about, but I do feel like that is the vibe for this week. It's like you already have more than you think you do. You already have more physical objects with which to luxuriate than you probably think you do. So look in storage, like do your laundry. You'll probably find some stuff that you forgot that you even had, and it'll feel like you went shopping. Like that's kind of the vibe I'm getting right now with that card. I'm gonna have some water. And next up, we've got the Ace of Cups reversed. And later on, we also have the Ace of Pentacles reversed. So it's interesting to see some aces. We also have 2 10s, but the 10s are upright. So it's kind of interesting to notice the patterning of the numbers that we're pulling. So that's always kind of interesting. Ace of Cups reversed. So if you have a first date scheduled this week, it might end up being rescheduled. And if it doesn't end up being rescheduled by the other person, it might be a good call to reschedule it yourself. For whatever reason, I feel like this week, like I feel like the meet cutes are not going to be as meet cutie as they could be. Like I feel like there might be some miscommunication, some false starts, some misunderstandings, some miscommunication. People just might have gotten, woken up on the wrong side of the bed, and that just might be throwing things off emotionally for people. And also be really aware about, to the extent that that is impacting your own self, right? Maybe you're the one that's woke up on the wrong side of the bed and your emotions are out of whack, and you're going to be the one that is causing a weirdness or just misinterpreting someone or just being a little bit snippy because you're in a mood and it has like nothing to do with the other person. So if you do have a date scheduled and you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, I would reschedule it this week because your emotions might be a little bit overreactive for no real reason. It's not something we necessarily need to overanalyze, psychoanalyze, but it is something that might be happening for us this week. I do see the potential for some beginnings, though. It just is important that they happen at the right time, in the right way, when everyone's woke up on the right side of the bed, and those miscommunications and those crossed wires are not going to stop something before it starts. So that's really, really important for this week, interestingly. So before I talk about the 10 of Cups, I'm going to talk about the Ace of Pentacles reversed. So this is going to be a week of applying for jobs, but you might not get the job that you want. You might have been the top candidate, but then maybe something changed or something happened where for some reason you didn't get the position. And so do expect to be told no this week about certain things. If you're applying for loans, if you're applying for this, if you're applying for that, like anything financial, there's a chance that that is not exactly going to go the way that you want it to. But that doesn't mean that all is lost. It doesn't mean that you're going to explode. It doesn't mean that the world is ending. It just means that it's an opportunity for you to be a little bit more creative and a little bit more ingenious about where your coins are coming from. right? So if one door is closing to you, doesn't mean that there's no more doors left. There's probably going to be a ton of doors left that you can knock on and see if you can get some additional resources that way. Again, whether that's going to be job applications, applying for loans, any type of like money coming in type of thing. Be prepared to be creative with that this week in terms of where your money is coming from. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting with this. Like, apply for the things that you wouldn't have normally thought to apply for. Knock on the doors that you wouldn't have thought to knock on. Pay attention to those serendipitous connections, like at the coffee shop, like overhear conversations, jump in. You never know. It might be connections that are made that way in a bit of a roundabout type of way, like a sideways type of way, rather than the like being direct, applying for things in the typical way. So for this week, in terms of money coming in, just prepare for it to be a little bit random. And I think this can also be as simple as finding some money on the ground or I'll show you guys Awas. There she is. She is so cute and loud. So anyway, back to the tarot. That's what I would say with this. You can also ask for discounts, even if you're at a store where you don't think they're the type of place to give it to you. Like, you never really know. It's like they could have been intending to put the item that you were going to buy on sale, like at the end of the work day. So it would be on sale the next day. And you never know if you just ask and see, are you guys putting anything on sale for the next few days? Is it possible to just get that discount now? Like, you never know. Like, if you ask, certain things might just happen. That is the energy I'm getting from this card for this week. But definitely those two reversed aces, it's like new beginnings, fresh starts, new things coming in, but like a little bit blocked, a little bit delayed, a little bit sideways, a little bit not completely forthright in the way that it's manifesting. So it might be happening in a way that you don't expect it, from a direction that you don't expect it. So that's just something to keep in mind for this week. So those are all of our reversals for the week ahead. And also we have got some lovely upright cards. Some of them are fun and some of them are not fun. So let's start with the not fun one, just get out of the way. The 10 of Swords. So this card is not a fun one. So with this, what's coming up for me is like, what is ending for you this week? And this can be often like our thoughts. The swords do tend to be the mental, cerebral side of ourselves, side of life, communication. It can be if you're in the academy, like maybe you're doing a PhD, maybe you're doing a master's, maybe you're finishing up undergrad or some kind of other like degree or certificate or something in your off hours. It could be that certificate or whatever is coming to an end, something intellectual is coming to an end. It can also be your worries coming to an end, something that you're stressed about coming to an end. I think I know exactly what this is for myself. And it's like, let it end, let it happen. For me, I know exactly what this is about. So it's like there's a medical thing I've been supposed to have gotten done for like a year and a half. I've been putting it off because I'm scared. And so I think this is about, and I've been so worried about it. I've been so anxious about it. And so I know that when I do it, it's just going to be not a fucking big deal. It's going to be fine. I'm just going to be like, why was I so freaked out about that? And I put it off for like literally probably a year and a half, 2 years. Like, why was I doing that? And so I don't know what this is going to be like for you guys, but it's like, how can you put an end to the thing or things you've been anxious about or worried about? So maybe you've been putting off doing your taxes. Maybe you've been putting off breaking up with the person. Maybe you've been putting off saying what you need to say to your parents or your boss or whatever. So this is all about those worries. Finally, we're meeting the situation that those worries are about, and it's over. And so whatever you can do this week to bring that overness, that ending into being, I would do it. Like, whatever you've been putting off, I would just do it this week. And it's specifically something that you've been worried about or anxious about. Something that you don't feel like you have any control over and you're unreasonably freaked out about. This is the time to just get that out of the way. because then you can have this fresh start, right? So I do think it's very interesting that this is upright as well. So to me, that tells us that we know what this is going to be, we know what this is about, and we have to face that ending. We have to face the coming to pass of whatever this thing is in regards to in order to move on into that realm of the aces. And I think it's quite interesting, right? We've got these two reversed aces, and yet we've got two upright tens, right? So the tens being upright shows us that we can move through these endings and then finally unblock those two aces, which I actually quite like that narrative, right? So that's pretty interesting sequence there. But this is just give yourself permission to move through whatever the hell it is, the thing that you're anxious about. It could just be, like for me, it's probably also bookkeeping. It's like whatever stuff that is like stressing you, what you feel overwhelmed about, like pull the sword out, do the thing, get it over with, and move on. And I think you likely know what that is, what it is that you're avoiding, what you're worried about, what you're stressed about, all of that. Don't avoid it anymore. Just get it over with, get it done, and you can move on. We've also got this really lovely 10 of Cups here. So this card is following me around lately. I don't know why, but it is, and I will take it because it's a really amazing card. So 10 of Cups is very much about happiness, community, love. So if anyone has a family or you're hoping to start a family, like whether you are in the planning stages of that or whether you're in the full throes of it, like really spend some time with your lover, your partner, your family, your kids. If any of that is a part of your sphere, really prioritize that family or connected time this week. And if you're single like me, maybe get out there, go to networking events, go out on a few dates, go and see people, get out of the house, like just be in the community energy, be in the group energy, and step into a feeling of gratitude. Notice your emotional self this week and notice your intuitive pulls. So I feel like if you are single and you're not just going to be spending time with family this week and you just want to get out there, meet new people, really follow that intuition, that emotional pull that is going to be drawing you to go do certain things at certain times. So for instance, like I just got a coffee, and the reason I was late today was I overheard someone talking about something that is something I want to hire for and have been thinking about. I need to hire someone to do ABC, or I need to like hire someone to mentor me to do BCD, whatever. And I just happened to overhear a conversation where someone was doing that with someone right there. I was like, okay, well, shit. So clearly that was me leaving the house at the right times. If I had left earlier or later, I might not have actually heard that conversation, ran into that person, and exchanged contact information, right? So it's all about following our intuition to be in the right place at the right time to make those connections that we need to make this week, however big or small. That's what's going to be really, really important, right? It's like getting ourselves out of the house. This is going to be really important for those of y'all who are like me, hermits. I feel like I'm in a permanent hermit mode a lot of the time. Like I honestly just like stay home, cozy in bed. And this week it's like get out there. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know who's going to cross your path. Just follow your intuition, follow that energetic pull, right? Follow your emotional impulses. So if your feeling is, oh, I really would like a coffee right now, or I'm so craving sushi or whatever it is, give those intuitions, those feelings a voice this week. So it will likely lead you into serendipitous connections that are going to be quite good and will likely lead you to that next level, that next phase, that next stage, whichever one that you're supposed to be in. My cats, the girls are fighting, I guess, and Sekhmet just went over to go see what was going on. I don't know if anyone else has fighting cats sometimes, but there you go. So I like that card, 10 of Cups, so good. We've also got the Knight of Wands here. And so I love this card. So this is actually our only wand card for this week. And so this card is all about movement, right? The Knights are all about transition, moving from point A to point B, moving. It can also be about being a messenger. But for this week, I would say it's more about momentum, especially since this is a fire type of card, right? So the momentum of our creativity, of our passion, of our inspiration. And so I would really recommend spending time this week doing something that inspires you, that lights you up, that invigorates your creativity. For me, I'm sure that's probably going to be writing and painting. But for you, it might be something else, right? Like maybe you really love playing soccer, but you haven't played soccer in like a million years. Maybe you haven't baked in a million years, but that's really your creativity really fuels you. So spend some time doing something creative for yourself this week. It doesn't matter if it's connected to your work. It actually cannot be. It can be just something that can be a hobby or something that you just do for fun. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy. Oh, hi, Desmond. Nice to have you here. So follow the vibe towards something that really lights you up this week. Something that invigorates your creativity, something you don't have to be an expert at, because the knight is not necessarily an expert, right? The knight is under the queen and the king. So the knight is closer to the page, a bit more of an adolescent energy where we're still learning something. And so I think it's being in that space of learning is going to be one thing that's going to be important for us this week. Be in a growth space, make yourself a little bit uncomfortable, push your comfort zone, like do something that you kind of know a little bit how to do, but it feels a little bit like a stretch, right? Because when we do that, we're connecting with our creativity, we are expanding, we're connecting to that childlike sense of play and experimentation that could infuse the rest of our week, the rest of our life with that nice, vibrant, fiery spark, which I actually really quite like. So that's fun. So the next card we've got for the week ahead is the Emperor. And so I do think it's going to be a week of structure and rules and being really firm about our boundaries. And I know you guys have seen me pull the Four of Cups as a boundaries card, but I would say this card is also a boundaries card in a little bit more of an extreme, intense, abrasive, perhaps way. And so this week, despite the good vibes we've seen, like I do think this is going to be a week where it's important to stick to our guns, stick to our boundaries, even when we don't really want to, stick to our commitments to ourselves, be very, very firm on certain things with whoever we need to be firm to, right? That could be a boss, it could be a partner, it could be kids if you've got kids, it could be even with yourself. Like if you set this boundary of, oh, I'm going to write 1,000 words every day, and instead of writing 1,000 words every day, you go on Netflix. It's like that is you betraying your own boundaries and abandoning your own rules for yourself. So this card is like, nope, we got to be hardcore this week. We got to be a stickler. We got to do stuff we maybe don't want to do. We got to push ourselves, have that determination, have that perseverance, have that dedication to the larger picture of what it is that we are here to be doing. So it's like, don't put it off till tomorrow, just do it today. There's so many things that many of us will put off for tomorrow, put it off for next week, put it off for next month. And then before you know it, it's like 2 years from now and you still haven't done whatever the hell that was. And so this is a reminder to stay very crisp and clear with your deliverables that you've set up for yourself and with whatever that timeline is that feels good for you. So no excuses. It's like not a week of excuses. It's not a week of I feel called to say it's not a week of being a pussy. And I know that language probably sounds a little bit offensive to some people. For some reason, that's the message that's coming in. But it's not a week to wimp out. It's like we can push ourselves to be more than we thought we could be. And the only way to realize that we can be more than we thought we could be, the only way to achieve more, the only way to stretch ourselves is to kind of sometimes force ourselves past that point of discomfort, past that point of misery, past the point of, God, I really don't want to do this right now. But then the next day, we'll probably end up feeling proud of ourselves like, oh shit, look at how much I did. Look how much I wrote. Look how much I painted. Look how much meal prep I did. Like, look, I did all my bookkeeping. Like, whatever it is that you've been putting off. And so I do think this is probably related somewhat to this card in some ways. So be quite firm with yourself, with your boundaries that you've set for yourself. You can do it. You're capable of more than you think you are. And the 4, right? So the Emperor is a 4, and the 4s, I believe, are the most stable cards in the tarot. And so even though this might feel a little bit disorienting or a little bit challenging at some times, at the end of the day, it's going to be very stabilizing for us. And it's going to create this nice groundedness that will help us move forward in a more empowered, motivated way. So this is a week of like pedaling to the metal, I guess you could say, and moving past the limitations that we're putting on ourselves. Like whatever you're telling yourself you can't do, it's like the only way out is through. Just keep pushing forward, and likely you are capable of more than you think you're capable of. So I actually really quite love that as our major arcana as a general card for the week ahead. So next up, we've got a bunch of cards around what do we do about that. I'm going to have some coffee first. I think it's probably cold by now. Cold coffee. Okay. Whenever I do this, I'm always like talking a mile a minute, so my coffee always gets cold. Okay, so what do we do about all of that, right? So we just pulled some cards for what is the vibe of the week, and obviously there's some instructions in there a little bit about how to deal with the vibe of the week. But here we've got additional cards that are specifically around how do we deal with this? How do we cope with this? What actions should we either be taking or not taking, right? That's what these cards are about. So we've got this reversed Six of Swords here. So I would say if you're thinking of traveling, and it's something you can reschedule, I would really not be traveling this week personally. This card it's about specifically travel over water. It's one of the only cards in the tarot that does actually very explicitly reference traveling. So I do feel like if we do travel this week, it might just explode in our faces. It might not go the way we want it to. It might kind of set us back. It might end up being a waste of money. So if you can reschedule your travel plans, that's what I would do for this week if I was you guys. Next up, oh my God, my hair there. Don't avoid asking for help. I do think it's a week to reach out to people to help us with whatever it is that we're struggling with. That can be a coach, that can be a therapist, that can be signing up for a course, that can be going to the doctor's office, that could be hiring a mentor, that can be shadowing someone at work, it can be talking to our boss. If you have parents, talking to your parents, like some kind of mentorship, some kind of advice that's external. I think it's going to be important this week to lean into those resources, lean into those people, and see if we can't learn something about our situation that we can maybe do differently for this week. I think that's going to be really, really important. So don't neglect that. It could be that we've been avoiding looking for additional people to help us with certain things. Maybe we want to be really independent. Maybe we want to do everything by ourselves. We don't like asking for help. So it can be vulnerable. I totally get that. But this week it's going to be important to just kind of poke a hole in that balloon that we are telling ourselves that we don't need help. Because when we are inviting others to help us, give us their advice, we don't have to follow every single word that they say, but we can still end up learning a lot and growing a lot from that. So I would say definitely do that for this week. Death reversed. Don't avoid the transformation. Don't avoid the transformation. The transformation is imminent. It needs to happen. You might know what this is about. You might not, but I think you guys probably will know what this is about. You've probably been avoiding some transformation, big changes. Could be moving. It could be switching your business model. It could be breaking up with someone. It could be quitting your job. Big changes. Big changes. So for this week, we need to unblock these changes, right? So this is reversed often when we're fighting whatever these changes are supposed to be. Death is not a bad thing. It's just a rebirth, right? We're just stepping into that next version of who we're supposed to be, another season of life. So we don't have to fear death. Death is natural. Death is normal. Death and rebirth. And so don't avoid the changes that are likely on the horizon for this week. If there's a really uncomfortable change, just lean into it. See what you can't learn from that and just embrace and surrender to the death card, honestly. And finally, we've got this really lovely upright 7. And I would say this is probably in a pair with the death card because look how lovely this is. Look how many choices we have. The 7 of Cups is a card of a lot of choice, right? And so why I'm thinking that this goes with this death card, and interestingly, with this is sometimes when we ask for an external opinion, they're going to reveal to us how many choices we actually have. And we might be on one path where we think this is the one and only way to go. My life is going to explode unless I do this one exact thing. But actually, one door closing does not mean, again, all the other doors are closed. Likely, there's other doors open to us that actually might be a better fit. So in this case, I would say the death card might be realizing that these two cups that we've been fixating on are not a good fit for us at all. And we can just write off those cups and then look at all of the other options that are available to us. There's so many different paths that any of us can walk at any time, and it doesn't just have to go in one direction. You know, I pulled this card when, I think I've told you guys this before, but I pulled this card when I broke up with my Big Five publisher back, I don't know if it was a year ago, something like that. Because I was kind of like feeling a bit miserable about it. Like, it was a good call and I was so happy about it as well, like when I finally paid them back their advance. But behind the scenes, I was also kind of like, am I fucking myself? Like, because this is supposed to be the traditional path to success. And this card basically taught me, like, no, I'm not supposed to walk that traditional path to success. I will find my own random, maybe kind of weird path to success that is not the typical 1, 2, 3 paint by numbers type of thing that most people are going to be doing. And so you might think there's only one way to get to where you want, but this card is like, no, it's killing you to just keep doing the one thing. Look at all the other options. Be reborn in that abundance of choice. And we all have that available to us. It's really easy to forget, right? It's really easy to become fixated on like one of these cups and forget that all the other cups exist. But all the other cups do exist, my friends. And so this card is reminding us that this week, it's going to be really important to expand our vision, to look at all of the options available to us, to look at the breadth of opportunity in front of us, because there's going to be a lot more than we likely think that there is. And we can only really see this when we're willing to admit that the path that we've been walking isn't working, and maybe it's time to switch things up. It's a fun reading for the week, you guys. We've got a few folks here live. Do we have any questions about those cards? They're pretty interesting. Or does anyone want to relate those to your life at the moment? Nope. Okay. We got another cat. A sec, Matt. This is my son. Oops. Hey, baby. He weighs like 35 pounds. There we go. You guys can see him. That's my baby. Yeah, I'm obsessed with him. He's so sweet. Okay, now I'm going to read for you guys the show you segment. Okay, so now we're going to do some oracle cards, as we always do. Oh, he's so sweet. Aren't you guys in love with him? I'm in love with him. Okay. Let's just see what we got. Oh, he's purring so loud. I don't know if you guys can hear. My hair is like everywhere. I don't know if that happens to anyone else with long hair. Okay, so let's see some oracle cards for the week ahead. It's from the Sassy Oracle. What do I need to know? He's so perfect. I know we're not supposed to have favorite cats, but he's my favorite cat. He matches the couch. Don't you guys love him? Oh, he's got a little goober on his eye. We don't need that. Okay, so oracle cards for the week ahead. What do we got? And I'm going to be pulling from 3 different oracle decks. This is the first one. I'll be pulling from. Oh my god, he's sticking out his tongue. I don't know if you guys can see that. Hello, honey. All right. So we've got a few. Touch the sky. Sky's the limit. We're capable of a lot more than we think we are. I think that's true. This one, the illustration is a bit weird, but it says, be the change. So we can't rely on other people to change our circumstances for us. We have to do that ourselves. Isn't that right, Sekhmet? One more from this deck. Actually, no, 2 more. Kill your darling. I think this works really nicely with that death card that we pulled before, the death card reversed. Because we might not want to let go whatever it was that we thought we wanted. Another one. Life is a mystery and everyone must stand alone. Interesting. How can we interpret this? Life is a mystery and everyone must stand alone. Like, it's interesting, right? Because we also pulled that reversed 3 of Pentacles, which is all about mentorship and asking others for advice and input. And I think at the end of the day, it's like, get all the input, but it's still important to make your own decisions. That's one of the things I would say with that. It was an interesting series of oracle cards. Hello, friends. Got more people live. Hello, hello. So now we're going to be pulling some self-care cards for the week. Let's see. And I like the self-care cards as a nice counterbalance to the tarot because they tend to be very, like, friendly, which I kind of like. So let's see. How can we self-care this week? Beauty ritual. So maybe get your hair done, get the Botox, get your hair cut, nails done, whatever you need to do. What else do we need to do this week? Self-care. Ground yourself. Always important. What else we got? Build strength from my gym people. So do some kind of strength building exercise. Interesting. Okay, and so we've also got the self-care wisdom cards, which I really like. They're a little bit more poetic. It's like less do this, but I like the ones that are like do this too. So, okay, let's see what we got. I just want Sekhmet to be in the... He's so sweet. I don't know if you guys can hear him purring, but he's so adorable. I love him. Okay. Sovereign. It says, you are the queen of your life. Treat yourself like royalty. And if we've got any men here, it would be, you are the king of your life. Treat yourself like royalty. But I think a lot of men already know how to do that. I think that's like for a lot of men the default vibe. Whereas a lot of women really need to be encouraged to do that. It's interesting. Change. This kind of works nicely with the cards we pulled, especially the Death card, the Seven of Cups. A resistance to change is a resistance to life itself. Open your heart and mind to new beginnings. I like that. I like this one. Abundance. Being a thoughtful steward for the money you already have is a secret to creating more abundance. When you trust yourself to handle more, that's when more shows up. I'm going to keep this card out as like a card to meditate on. I really like that. And if anyone is still here live, if you want me to pull a card for you, let me know. Just pop in the chat and I'll pull one of these for you. If anyone is still here and wants one. Oh, he's so sweet. He's so cute. Does anyone want one of these for themselves? I don't mind. I know there are some of you guys live. Well, happy new moon, everyone. My Feminine Energy Without Bullshit course is now launched. So if anyone is curious about that, I'll be doing a live, I think, on Thursday. It's a little bit more information about what the hell it is, what is feminine energy, and why should anyone care. And there's a new podcast episode today, too, about overgiving. And if you are overgiving, maybe feminine energy is for you. I think a lot of women do that, right? Like we overgive, we overperform for, approval, and it kicks us in the ass at the end of the day. All right, well, if no one wants a card, then I guess no one's getting one. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in for the tarot and oracle cards for the week ahead. And I would really encourage you to watch back last week's tarot for the week ahead, because then you can kind of reflect back and look at your week and see, how did last week go for you? How did the cards relate, if they did? And then you can also watch this back as the week goes on. That's what I really like to do, so that I can have a good idea as the week is moving along, how the energies are swirling around, and it helps me stay present and making the best possible decisions that I can as the week goes. I'm so distracted by him being so cute. Look at his little paws. I love it. Anyway, friends, that's all. That's all the tarot and oracle for the week ahead. Thank you so much for listening, as always. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you haven't liked the video yet, please do so. If you haven't told your friends yet, please do so. And that is the cards for the week ahead. Of course, if you're curious about Feminine Energy Without Bullshit, the link will be in the description of this video, but the URL is sabrinamscott.com/FEWOBS. If anyone is curious, feel free to send me a question about any of that. I'm more than happy to help you sort out if the course is going to be a good fit for you. All right, friends, see you soon. Bye.